Yo,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry, man. We
That's basically it. A lot of people are unhealthy to be in a relationship.
Sean and Noah. What's up?
My bad. What's up, fellas?
I know y'all could dig down. They could talk forever. Glendon, Devontae, what's up?
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all?
What's up, fellas?
You good?
Yeah, man.
How you?
Yo, Glendon, man, you owe me a response, man.
I've been so busy, man.
You're
I told
man.
you.
Shut up. I don't want to hear none of that.
Don't
man.
do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
You got more excuse than a brother going to jail, man.
Listen.
It wasn't me.
It's been a busy couple of months, man. I told you when I got back, I was in
You got back? You was in prison?
He was in Iraq.
Saw them. I was in Florida for a week, so I had to see my grandma. Yeah, I was joking, but Florida, you know. But yeah, I had to see my grandma, so I was down there, and then before that, I had to shoot a wedding in Jersey.
But Glendon, that wedding is only one day, man. What happened to the other whatever days out the month?
I got to edit. I don't have other projects. This man acting like
He's holding you responsible, man.
No, it's fine. I respect it. I just, you know, he's not the only one. I've made
all
a
you
lot
gotta
of
do is do a simple text back, man. Dude, you can do that while you on the couch watching Netflix.
I don't watch Netflix, man. I only watch TV.
Look, I got one simple question that'll squash all of this. What's her name?
There's no her, man.
All right, let me come at you a different way. What's her last name?
Whoa, I ain't know how he's gonna come at.
All of this is keeping. I'm keeping all of this in the recording.
I was like, wait, what?
I'm keeping all of this.
I was like, where is this going?
Devontae, you gonna step in for me, bro?
Ain't nobody stepping in for you, son.
Nah, man. I've literally just been working. And
man, Glendon, I'm coming in on you because you ain't text me back.
Man,
dude.
Listen. I gotta finish this wedding. I gotta finish a music video. I got like 3 photo shoots I gotta finish. I'm supposed to be shooting in Upper Maryland. You know what I'm saying? That's why I've been like, okay, yeah, I've been bad with applying, and it's not just you. It's not an excuse, but I know you wanted to do some work.
Hey! I'll tell you this. I bet you replied to her.
Who is? I just don't understand.
I bet she got a text back.
He drinking again. Let me drink for you, man.
I don't understand.
Devontae, go get some water, sir.
I don't know.
I mean this, and I'm glad that this is going to be on the internet. At this point in my life, I know who my boys are, I know who my family are, and I know who the men I've looked up to in my life as a black young male. I thank God for my mother putting me in an environment. Coming from New York to Maryland in the suburbs, it was different. I hated it here. But when I look back in my life, I'm blessed. I wake up in the morning, I'm kind of like, bro, no disrespect. A lot of the things that's going on, but God still gave me grace to wake up this morning. I'm not taking that for granted no more. Yo. I'm not. So it's kind of like at this point, I'm glad. Just show your colors. Tell me really how you feel, honestly.
Preach, Devontae.
I love it.
I think, man, Shell, Devontae, man, that was kind of a drop the mic.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
As he was talking, man, my head was just swirling. I think, to his point, we're kind of seeing where I guess people really stand, the divide, the divide and sand. But I think here's the real problem, the crux of the issue.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I got frustrated about in 2020 was, man, I was supposed to go to Ghana in April. I was talking to Sheldon about this. Supposed to go to Ghana. And I was going over there to do revival, but to be honest, what I was excited about was to stand at the place of no return, where they took the slaves in a little boat to get on the ship, the door of no return.
Yeah.
And here's why I think it really boils down to is 2 things. Black people that were taken from Africa, they never expected in their wildest dreams that anybody would have come to take them and bring them to this quote unquote new world because they were doing just fine.
Yeah.
Right. One of the arguments is it was good for us to bring the people of Africa to America to teach them Christianity and to discontinue what they thought that all Africans was over there being cannibals.
Right.
Those are two arguments that are out there. But what I realized, man, is the other thing is this. The people of the preferred culture in America that took people from Africa and brought them to this new world, they never also in their wildest dreams could fathom that at one point the people they brought would no longer be in the state that they brought them into. In other words, they never thought that there was gonna come a day when they would no longer be slaves, when they would no longer be subservient, where they would not be 3/5 of a person, where they would not be citizens. They could not have fathomed. I mean, the people that wrote the Declaration of Independence, when they signed it, they went home to slaves. And I told somebody the other day, I never have felt that document was for me, because when the people wrote that, I was not in their mind. I was 3/5 of a person to them. So they never thought that a Glendon Hines would be doing photography and a Devontae would be mentoring young boys. They never thought that Sean would have a place in government where people are reaching out to him for him to tell them, the government, how to do things. They never thought that a brother named Shelton would be getting called from major corporations to put stuff on camera. They didn't think about that. And so I think, this is just me, there are a lot of people in the preferred culture in America who are like, we never envisioned this. We never wanted it. And we still feel how we've always felt. And so I think for many people, when President Barack Hussein Obama got in office, I think there were many people of color who thought all of our problems would be solved because in their mind, we gave you a black man. Now, what people didn't know is when Michelle and Barack, and I'm going to end on this, when Michelle and Barack Obama were doing their first dance as the first couple in America, when they were doing their first dance, no more than a block down the street, there were about 7 to 10 white men who were in a hotel, and the conversation was something like this. And I'm talking about while they were dancing. This is fact. This is documented. While they were dancing, they said, do y'all see what's going on? We can't ever let that happen again. And that's why we have what we got going on right now.
Wow. Right?
I just feel like, man, people never felt like we would get out of slavery, we get out of segregation and get to this place. And I told somebody, if you never wanted me to rise to this, you should have never brought me here, because I was doing fine where I was.
That's it.
But now that you brought me here, then you can't deny what I'm going to do while I'm here.
That's right.
And I think that's part of the big struggle that's going on with some people.
Sure.
And like with all that, I every morning I wake up, like people be like, oh, I hate Mondays. I love Mondays. It's the start of a new week, new goals, new things for me personally. Like I relish the idea of it's Sunday, I have to prepare for my week now. Every week is different. Anything is a new experience. So it's kind of like I relish the moment of being a black man, because when I make it, I ain't had no handouts. You made it hard for me. I see my friends who are doing extraordinary things. I see black women in this country leading in the ways of education. I love it.
We know you see black women in this country.
That's why you got to the car, man.
You see them in PG County too, don't you?
I just can't with him, bro.
This is going to be the ring joke.
I love it because it's like I know nothing was handed to us. And like J. Cole said, like real talk, he said, I love to see a black man get paid. Say like that. I love it. So I don't. People ask me, oh, how is it? It's hard, but when I get there, ain't nobody can take nothing from me. That's a fact.
That's right. So listen up, fellas. So where do we go from here? Like, in all honesty, right? Just thinking about us individually, right? From being parents to not having kids to just seeing the world from different perspectives. Can you kind of just say, and I'm curious because I see things from my own view, but what do you see? Where do we go from this point forward? If you could summarize that, just give you the opportunity to say, where are we heading and what can we do as individuals in our own space to kind of move this forward, right? Because right now, you know, with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, all these things happening, it brought more highlight to what's happening, right? Things are being recorded. But where do we go now? And we can't live in a place where we're just negative, right? Devontae, your mindset is truly what I hope other young men can adopt. You know what I mean? And mindset is about really moving us forward, and that's the energy that we need. But where do we go, right? And I can tell you from my perspective, with kids in the house and a wife, my world is different. And I'm in a neighborhood with neighbors who are white, and I almost have to think about my approach, right? Before going out for a jog, am I prepared? You know, I have to have conversations with my kids about this is what can happen, even though it may not happen, and this is how you must treat an officer. Not, you know, and not to really put too much information and taint his vision, but I also have to make him aware of what's happening in the world, right? My wife, I talk about when we go out for a ride, she asks me, make sure you go where you're going. Let me know if you got there safe, right? So my world is a little bit different, and it can be different from you guys. So Devontae, while you're hot and your mindset is fresh, tell me, like, where can we go from this point forward in your world, in your view right now?
I think, well, one thing, and me and Pastor, we touched on this that day. We talked on the IG Live. I think that I have to infect the younger generation under me with this, not even with my mindset, but to make their mindset better than mine now. Like, if the whole point is to teach the younger generation and help them move forward, but you want them to be better than you and you want them to succeed. And like, I definitely have, I haven't really been my due diligence to go back and check on them, but there's young men that I have definitely checked on like during the whole program. I used to work with them, and I see that one of them hit me up randomly, was like, yo, Mr. Devontae. And mind you, they didn't even call me Mr. Devontae when I first started. So it's just the way they've grown. And I remember working in Baltimore City, excuse me, and it was I forgot, Pastor Hoy. She had this like group from different churches, and they would used to go in the community and do positive things, either sandwiches or go to mother group homes and do arts and crafts with kids. And this kid came to me, he was like, what did you do? And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, why are you doing community service? Like, what did you do to get community service? Wow. And I was like, I didn't do anything. I just literally volunteered. And that was what he saw. That's what he's used to seeing, that people give back because the court ordered to. So it's kind of like, I have to find a way to help him and those other kids that think like him to change that mindset to be like, hey, it's greater than Baltimore. It's greater than D.C. And you could be a part of that. Because a lot of the times is that those kids don't feel like they could be a part of that. So they don't even try to think about it. So it's kind of like just having a simple conversation would make them their whole day. So for me, for sure, it's trying to figure out a way to communicate with the youth and let them know it's bigger than being a rapper, a ball player. You don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to be a lawyer. You can invest. And I think that a lot of these things in high school where they should teach you about credit and bank accounts and all these things that aren't there, I feel like we should start having these sessions for our kids and our youth. They don't know. And you can't help them if they don't know.
I think we're done, guys. Have a great night.
May the Lord.
We're done, all right?
Devontae.
Listen, man, you Devontae, man, you hit the nail right on top of the head.
Mike,
because
I don't know if he just hit the nail on top of the head, but he literally, everything he said is what I was thinking. I was on Instagram. Your boy Allen Iverson said this: "I didn't choose to be black. I just got lucky." Ooh, and
that's right. Ooh.
So I agree with Devontae 1,000% in this regard. You asked, you know, how can we push it? How can we go forward? I want to use the word education. And by education, I don't mean necessarily going to get your undergrad, your master's, your doctorate, your law degree. When I mean education, I mean educating yourself on whatever it is would allow you to push and to lift the Black community more. You know what I mean? Whether that's going to get certified in something or educating yourself in such a way that you can be, that you can pull somebody up with you. I think one of the greatest travesties that I see in the Black community is, man, these Black people that suffer from a terrible disease called amnesia. And the disease of amnesia in the Black community, I think, is killing more people than cancer. Because this disease of amnesia says, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I came up on the rough side of the mountain, but now that I got my stuff, y'all need to get your stuff too, and I ain't gonna help not one person.
And one.
They forget how it was. They forget the struggle. They forget that somebody helped them. I can't stand to see that. And what Devontae said, man, ain't nothing but the gospel truth. That we're a community and we need to go back and help somebody else.
That's right.
That's all I got.
It's great. And I like you said that, because sometimes people don't realize that through action is the teaching part. And if you know, with Devontae, with that word, man, if you continue to take that energy and put into these kids, sometimes they just want to hear that, right? That perspective, that energy that says, speak about it, right? How did you get from point A to point B? And just by talking about it, right, you teach somebody because of that. That's an experience, right? So, man, that's big, man. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Glenn, man, you tell me, man, what should we do next? What can you do?
I have to. I'm friends. Really, I don't know if follow him. I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question.
Internet going wild, D. You got Boost Mobile over there.
Yo, your dial-up not working,
You was over there sounding like auto-tune.
I just got home and I just was connected to the Wi-Fi. Apologies.
Oh no, you good.
Dial-up, man.
You just dropped her off?
Nah, I didn't.
Don't tell me you made her.
Nah.
Okay. All right. I know our Thursday night is date night, brother. I already know the game.
Yo, let Glendon get his word in, man. Glendon, get his word.
I think I'm a little bit more. I just feel like every time I think about what's next, I always think about the top chain, who's at the top, who's running the country, and why are we not able to progress? And it just doesn't seem like there's any pathway to get. And I mean, this is essentially the business side. You know what I'm saying? Like, how we want to be viewed, we don't really have too much control, because even if there's one bad apple in the bunch, they will project that to the world. They will project that view of us to the world. And in terms of media, and now it's just like, okay, well, you guys were talking the Black Lives Matter painting in DC, and I kind of at first was irritated because I was just like, this is cool. It's right in front of the White House. Trump's going to be mad. You know what I'm saying? But then I was just like, this isn't what we asked for. And the mayor was just out there kneeling for like 3 minutes. And then she was throwing protesters in jail, like right after. Like she went outside and kneel and show solidarity and then started, you know what I'm saying? Like DC was beating on the protesters. So for me, I'm just like, what? Like it. We can't change the people who are in power. All we can do is replace them. And by the time we replace them, there's always going to be somebody holding somebody back. From Wall Street to all of the billionaires, you know what I'm saying? Like it just, to me, it's just like, I was looking at what Akon's doing, building his own city in Africa, and I'm just like, this is what I know. Like, I was born in LA, moved to Jamaica for a little bit, and then moved here. Like, this is I don't know Africa. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been over there, but I'm saying, but it's just like it almost starts with like we don't need them. Like, they talk about they need the black vote. The black dollar is the most important dollar. And I'm just like, well, if we invest in ourselves, maybe we can be able to live on our own. But then I'm just like, well, essentially, the banks are run by white people. You know what I'm saying? We start our own banks. Like, the money is coming from the government, which is run by white people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't get loans for houses. We can't get, it's just everything is just like white owned. And at this point, I'm just like.
And what's interesting is that even though we do have black businesses, I think that trust factor of going to a black business, that's a whole culture shift.
Yeah.
And that's hard, right? You used to get your stuff from Walmart. Now you have to go to this place that, you know, it's different, right? So I think that's a whole shift in itself too, to really shift our mindset to support our own people during this time.
It's definitely frustrating, but I'm trying to take things step by step because I get overwhelmed when I start thinking about like the top in the pyramid effect of how we can defeat racism and like even this whole Southern situation. It's just like the more and more upset I get at my alma mater, the more and more I'm just like, I'm not really mad at whoever put the post out. It's like Little Debbie is donating so much money to Southern, and I know some of the kids who graduated from Southern who are grandchildren of the people that run Little Debbie. They all have Benzes and Beamers and they're all rich. And I'm saying, like, some of them people are low-key racist. And it's just like
low-key.
It's just like subtle things they've said. I've been around them, and I'm just like, but I never really hung out with those white people. I peep, and I'm just like, you lose Little Debbie. The factory is right next to Southern.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's just like I understand it, but it's just like, why do we have to fight just to be able to like exist at this point? And it's just like I started running my neighborhood because Aunt Lois and Uncle Leroy, they've been running like 6 miles a day. And they know they've been here for like 20, 30 years. I'm saying, like, I used to live over there and I know her neighbors, but they don't like my neighborhood. Apparently, when I first moved, because I lived down the street from them, they put a raccoon in my mailbox. And my mom didn't tell me that. Yeah. My mom didn't tell me that until like I was a teenager. And I didn't really understand it. And I'm saying the people still live there. They got Humvees next door. They be shooting raccoons. There's this white boy on the HTV who drives around and gets the mail. And he was playing like, what was he playing? He was playing like Fetty Wap or some hip hop song on his ATV. I'm sitting here jogging like, You know what I'm saying? And he waves and says hi, and I'm like, should I tell this boy that his parents put a raccoon in my like, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like I didn't think about. I see her neighbors walking and not saying anything to me, but they're crazy. Like, I know they're crazy. But I'm saying, like, other white people are waving, saying hi, asking me how you doing. I'm standing on the side to avoid corona, but I'm just like, do I bring my Swiss Army knife with me just in case something
pop off?
Under drives down, and you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying I live in like the richest county in America, apparently. Like I live in Clarksville. There's no public transportation over here. There's like people move over here to get away from.
She'll come get you.
And I'm just, no, yeah.
But she know where you live.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you got agreement now.
He got it. Today he got it.
I can't. But it's just being over here and thinking, okay, I've never felt under attack. Like I know some of the officers. I go up to the gas station always, and they're doing nothing. I always say I've never felt like scared until you start to see that, like, oh, this is really how people think. Feel. And like side note, like my film program actually had a Zoom meeting to talk about like the black injustices by police officers, and it was like all white people in there that I know, plus like two of my professors who just didn't know anything. I was like, listen, man, like we've tried to keep and it was like mostly alumni because they just weren't educated. And for me, it was just like I appreciated it. And again, I didn't have the experience anybody else had that was in the Zoom meeting, and none of them really said like the professors were racist or anything. It just was kind of helping them understand that this is like you have to decide to get to know the students that aren't like your other students, because everyone didn't come from where the majority of the students came from. So they started to listen, and it was like I never looked at it like that, which is to me it's just like it's common sense. It's just like everyone in here that has like I went to TA. I had a Photoshop class for yearbook, and the rest of these kids like came in with vast camera knowledge and stuff, and I had to struggle, but
you have been using that disposable joint.
Nah, not dude. I had to use it over there, but I'm saying it's like my mind just goes in circles thinking about where we go to the point where I'm just like I'm tired of. I don't even feel like I'm pandering to white people, but it's almost like I just want to be left alone. It's like I just want to drive up the street, go to the gas station without somebody thinking that I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't drive a Benz. I drive an 03 Maxima. It looks like it could be a trap car. Like the paint stripping off, and I'm just like there's people over here getting blasted, getting pulled over, getting like I'm just like at this point, I don't know, man. It's yeah.
So
you said what?
Oh, my bad. I heard you say something. I have a question. You said you don't drive the Benz?
I don't have
it. Oh, no, I was about to say.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
So to Glendon's point, I guess to answer Sean's question, I kind of look at it in two ways, because I kind of look, how do we go forward? But I feel like right now, I do agree with Glendon. I feel kind of stuck, only because of the season that we're in. Right. I think because of the season that we're in, there are so many things that we're not able to do. I'll give you a case in point. I almost feel like a robber every time I leave my house right now. I almost feel like somebody's going to look at me weird because I'm wearing a mask. Now, mask to Black people is always different than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? So, sometimes I have masks, but I also have, you've seen what I wear sometimes, Sean, which is the joint where it makes me look like Wild Bill, or, you know what I'm saying, which is just like
West Coast Customs.
West Coast Customs, right? So to me, I feel like I'm going luckily I'm going into Walmart, but if I was in New York and I was going into a bodega, I kind of feel like I'm automatically the target, or I'm automatically the dude that's going in there to rob them. You know what I mean? So there's so many things that go through my mind right now, and I honestly feel locked down, right? Because there's things that I want to tell my children, but I have to tell them in two ways. Part one is I want you to be your best no matter what, and always speak your mind no matter what. That is my part one. But part two is know when to speak your mind, right? I say that underneath the umbrella of police. So I to Devontae's point, I want Black Wall Street again. How do we get there? You know what I'm saying? How do we get to this place where we don't have to worry about where our ends come from, where we know that this Black-owned bank is funded by the community of Black individuals. How do we get to the point where, everything my wife buys for me now, like even crazy, we was talking the other day, Noah, about, hey, what bed stuff you use, Black-owned business, shout out to all the Black-owned businesses that are doing for product for your face. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy me even saying the word product. But you know what I'm saying? I didn't like it. It didn't feel right. But so just different things. I feel like we have the ability to do this stuff, but I just don't want to be that crabs in a barrel mentality where there's like 300 of us going after the same thing. Like I almost feel like.
But even though, Shal, even if there are 300, there's only one of us doing, right? We're uniquely made, right? So true. I think through this anger and through this moment, I think this is where we pivot, right? And this is where as a community, we need to take this energy and start building our own internal empires. And from there, we build that empire, then we will portray, because we are so proud of what we're doing internally, that we will portray the best, right? And I think we just have to keep on building that, man. It's going to take time, but I do think it's weird. And I agree with you. I try and tell Chad, listen, you got to use the right words and when to use the right words. And it's a shame, right? Because we don't have inner city kids, right? You know what? Our kids are just, they're from, they get driven everywhere. We know exactly where they are 100%, right?
I took the bus to school, and I ain't talking about the school bus.
Word.
Metro.
The number 11, the D.
So it's different, right? And we're trying to teach our kids how to be like street savvy, but they don't know, right? Yeah. So we're fortunate enough to have that opportunity to have our kids in an environment where, they don't have to think about the struggles we have, right? But it's still difficult to expose them to enough information to make them fully equipped to deal with the world. And it's weird, man.
Yo, Devontae, can I say something to you, man? Your energy is I needed that. You were speaking directly to me with your positivity, because honestly, this world can put you in such a dark place, but you're so positive.
Yeah, that's true.
It helped me, know that I gotta walk from here and be like, I'm gonna take this little by little. But if Devontae, who technically could be, you know what I'm saying, my littlest brother, long time, it's telling me, we're gonna do this, that means I gotta step my tail up and do it. So you know what I'm saying? I know every conversation that we have going on from here out, it's what to expect. But dude, that did you ever consider going into pastoring?
Devontae, lift your hands right now.
Is there what?
Lift your hands right now.
Who did that sound effect?
Off your hands.
What, man?
Yo, you about to be deputized as a pastor just now. No one's about to ordain you just now.
Lift your hands right now.
He could have said public.
In the name of the Holy Spirit.
He could have said public speaking. He could have said